today. Cheap, effective resources, and I also I'm going to present, but I also want to get the conversation going to hear what ideas and techniques people here have to solve some of these problems. Quick wins, of course, everybody likes those. Sellable concept, how can you package and market the idea of user experience to your organization? How to build a team, sharing success, be able to market the successful interactions you have with users and get some impact out of it. Okay. So before I jump into this list, I'm curious. Um, how many people have zero budget for UX? Okay, nothing to be ashamed of. How do you get around that? What kinds of inexpensive trials or techniques or templates do you use to get the bang for your buck or your non-buck? What's that? Students? Interns. Awesome. What else? Anybody ever use a free trial for a program? Like not just for the free trial, really try and get a lot out of it? Okay. These are some techniques that I've seen a lot that and tools that people have used. Certainly Loop 11, Skype, and 5-second test. Those are kind of popular. Optimal sort, anybody use that? Yeah, that can be really useful. Xmind and FreeMind, I've been hearing people talk a lot about those. Prototyping, anybody do mobile prototyping on Pop? That new app, really, really cool. You sketch out your mobile design on a piece of paper, and you take pictures of it, and it turns those into clickable prototypes that you can advance between each of the pictures. Real, yeah, just on your smartphone. It's lots of fun. And ideation tools, if you're doing idea generation, you're trying to do affinity diagrams. These are all not even free trial. I think they're really, really helpful. And for books, I find in my space we've used this book called Rocket Surgery Made Easy, which I plug a lot. I see heads nodding. That's great. It's by Steve Krug, and it's basically how to do your own usability testing. Anybody else have any books that they find are just indispensable? Anybody else? Oh yeah, that's a good one too. Yeah, I've been hearing about that one. I haven't checked it out. Back there? Oh, it gets around the whole analysis paralysis thing, I assume. Good. Yeah. You know, are we? Yeah, yeah,
Testing, testing. 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 My life is amazing. Testing. 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 Still testing. Testing.
Okay, can you guys hear me? Yeah? Testing? Oh, that's louder. We like that. Okay, if someone who's listening and is on the live stream, post in the live, the Hangout that we're actually getting sound. I'm hearing it through my computer now, so hopefully we should be okay. We will begin again in a moment. Thank you for your patience. All right. I think we are good to go. That.
Hello, hello. Sounds slightly louder.
Okay, no problems.
Hello, Internet people. Very happy to have you here. Okay, let's keep moving. Okay. Any other books or free resources people have found that indispensable, really good if you're in a financial pinch? Nope. Okay. Ingenuity always helps. This is our makeshift mobile testing unit. As you can see here, we have a desktop lamp with a binder clip and a webcam. We're able to do mobile testing on that. I didn't even make that up. Someone online showed that to me. But don't wait for that big budget. Try and do what you can, and get results with the smart people you have. Okay, so quick wins. You have limited time and resources. You want to make something happen. You want to make something small and capitalize on it. Does anybody know who this is? Okay. Close, close. Okay, and what's this? Little tweaks, yes. Little tweaks is a great way to get your quick wins. Don't try and roll out a big redesign. Don't try and do anything too large. Look for those low-hanging fruit. For people who don't understand how user experience works, to be able to make those changes and demonstrate that the process works can be really, really valuable. So just focus, find those small things, get some bang for your buck. Guerrilla testing is something we love in the government. At GSA, where I work, we follow Steve Krug's Rocket Surgery Made Easy method. And my program used to be called First Friday's Usability Program. We did tests on the first Friday of every month. We did it really small, 3 users in a 9 a.m. to maybe 1 or 2 p.m. Testing experience. I'll talk a little more about the experience later, but we brought in 3 users each for 1 hour. Then we had a debrief session with all the stakeholders and focused into finding 3 top usability problems that could be fixed in 1 month. So people come in, they see the testers, they see the testing experience, we start talking about the problems, they walk out the door with a list of 3 things to fix within the next 30 days. And obviously we scale it so they can actually succeed. We don't give them anything too massive, but it's something that's manageable, and it worked really well for us. We've changed our focus recently, but when we used to just help people with test support, we helped more than 100 agencies and departments do these types of usability tests, from NASA to OMB to the Army, and really saw a lot of success for it, and people were able to implement changes just based on this one day. It took about a month of prep. So trying to do away with complexities when it comes to a usability test, focus on something that's manageable that can give you some good results. Oh, that's bitmapped. Anyone remember what grit is? You old enough? All right, okay. So sellable concept. Big part of user experience, at least where I work, is explaining to people what it is and why it's valuable. So I'm curious, in this group, when you explain what you do or what user experience is, do you have a clever way that you try and get people to actually understand what it is? What do we got? No, I like that, especially the we're not trying to tell you what to do, we're just trying to help you plan. Yeah, I like that. What else? No one ever had to do an elevator pitch for user experience? No? I love that. Yes, because you're right. Tap into that frustration. Anybody else? Yep. That's great. Yeah, just push customer-centric voice of the customer. Finding out what lingo works at your organization and definitely go with that. I found many examples when people will start talking about human factors, and in their shop they don't use those terms at all. They don't even know what it means, but they really care about customer experience. So whatever those terms are, find out what those are and focus on them. Get more traction. Oh, so where now my slides got strange. Um, Finding precedent and ROI. When you come to an organization and you're trying to sell this concept, say, hey, has something been done here before? Are there any artifacts left over from previous tests? Often there are. Sometimes you have to dig really hard, and there's just one person who has it saved in their email somewhere. That can be invaluable for the people who are involved in that process. And to say, hey, we found these problems in 2008, and they're still here now in 2014. Maybe we can try and fix those. And certainly you can Google around and try and find things. But it's not always the good UX stories that can be powerful, but the bad ones as well. Often if there was a disaster that led to some bad PR, to really narrow down to what was the problem, it wasn't that certain people were fighting or whatever, it was that the users were frustrated because of a bad user experience, and use that as a stepping stone to make your case. Before and after shots, we love these. We would try and create our own, and if you haven't done these before, you can use the Wayback Machine and go find what your site used to look like in the past, do your screenshots, and then show exactly how things improved, or use somebody else's. It doesn't just need to be from what you've done. Yeah. Interwebs. Oh, I tried to do that. I will do a better job. Yep. We hear you. Okay, personas. This can be sometimes a little controversial. Is it worth the effort or is it not worth the effort? I find sometimes if you're able to create them quickly, they can be a really good conversation tool to explain what the concept is and introduce people to their users, which often hasn't been done before at all. Any people had any good or bad experience using personas? Or not know where they are? People not know what these are? This is a stereotypical composition of what your users are. This is not a user, but after you conduct user interviews and user research, you create a composite. The level of detail you go into can vary, but it really is supposed to represent a live person. And then when you are creating new functionality, you can use this as a sounding board and say, would Sue care about the president's picture on the front of this website? No. And you can actually take these two design meetings and advocate in place of these people. So they can be valuable. Yes. She aged very well. Healthy living. Turning your tests or UX techniques into an experience is something that has worked really well for us. You put all this effort into conducting a test, into getting users together, and then it's just you and them in a room. I think that's a wasted opportunity. Whenever we do tests, we use a webinar to send it to a conference room, and we try and fill that room with as many people as we can. You can also have it be a webinar, but having people in the room to talk to each other during the experience can be hugely successful. So you've already done all the work to get the users there and the tech's all in place. It's really not a lot of effort to just go and put a WebEx or whatever you're using together to link it up into a room and pack this with people who either are stakeholders or you want to be stakeholders in the future. This is a concept that I just learned a little bit more about a couple months ago. A federal agency uses National Cancer Institute. It's called the open call method. And what it is they will put a time on their calendar and say, we need to have 4 people to submit their sites for usability review. And they get these people, they schedule them all, and then one tester spends 1 hour and reviews all 4 sites, 15 minutes, 15 minutes, 15 minutes, 15 minutes. So it's a very shallow view. It's kind of a combination between a usability test and a user interview, but it really can hit home on some key problems. They did this for a couple of days. I think they had 15 or so testers. So if you're trying to spread this user experience gospel and trying to get people interested, get all your stakeholders in one room. Really don't just spend all your time focusing on one. You could get multiple people involved. And then when you pack that room, you can have people represented from multiple offices. Anybody familiar with Jacob Nielsen's usability model, maturity model? This is his representation of the degree in which an organization, yes. People are going to get defensive. Oh, repeat the question. Thanks, Kit. He asked if you have people from multiple offices together, do you think some people will become defensive because more of the usability problems seem to be coming out of their site? I find any site that's tested is going to have usability problems, so I don't think anyone is necessarily going to become more agitated than anybody else. But hopefully, you can be there with them or have a member of your team with them to coach them and let them know, or beforehand, just set up expectations. All sites have problems. We're going to be unveiling them so we can fix them today. We're here to rectify situations, not just air grievances, and give you solutions on how to fix them. Good question. All right, so usability maturity model. This is his way of categorizing where you are in terms of how widespread user experience is at your organization. One, from being user experience is not important, unrecognized, they don't even know what it is. 2, it's fully embedded, it's pushed down from the top, it's institutionalized. All products are designed through this method. And there's lots of criteria on which of these are. So it can be helpful to illustrate, to say, okay, here is Amazon, here is Zappos, and here is us. And use this as a starting point for a conversation. Anybody seen this poster before? Yes, I love this thing. We can't hang up anything in our office, which is sad, but if we could, I would hang this up. If you have things that you can hang up to create an environment that it's not just you in your head thinking about user experience, it's a real thing, it's a real field. People can ask questions. This is done like a chutes and ladders and talks about all the user experience techniques, the research, the design, the prototyping. And the ladders, when you skip steps, you go backwards, just to show you that it's a bad idea. So, well, you can get the PDF for free, but you can also buy it. If you just Google designing the user experience poster, you'll find it. Really cool. Anybody seen this before? Same guy. This is one of my favorite things. It's XKCD, the webcomic. If you want to explain user experience in 10 seconds, this is the way to go. Talking about what people see on a university website versus what's actually there. So true. 100% true. That's all you need. Yeah, it is not even funny. He also did one about restaurant websites and what people look for versus what's actually there. You know, they want a menu that they can scroll through versus a PDF that they need to download and then scroll through all the pages and all that, or an address they can copy and paste into Google versus Flash. They can't. Really, really cool. Oh, no puppies. You just taking a picture? Okay, go for it. Yeah, yeah. You can also just, I think it's XKCD University website. That'll probably get you to that. Okay, the puppy. Oh. Okay, so you work really hard to get your test together, and you want to spread the word about it, let people know what you did and why it's important. So what's the best way to do that? I want to give props to my Corey Lepson. He gave a presentation at my agency about this a couple weeks ago, and he actually gave me some nice ideas, which I incorporated in here. Felt I would be foolish not to incorporate those. Showing results quickly, even on the day of, if you can. There's a tendency, you do your usability test, you do your research, you do your ethnographic research. You're so tired at the end of the day, you want to go home and just, pop a beer and relax. But don't, especially if you're doing it inside your agency. The immediacy factor is really important, and the more time you wait after the test to try and make a big deal out of it, the more people start to stop caring or even care less. So if you're live, some agencies or organizations, maybe you could live tweet your own test to talk about findings, but if that's too radical, just at the end of the day saying, we learned 3 great things today, or talk to people about that. Try and use time on your side. On the same result, don't just email the results once you finally have your report together. There can be the tendency just to email it out to people and just say, hey, here's the great thing, and then sit back and expect them to all come and give you like a king ride and throw a ticker day parade. More often than not, I would schedule a presentation and actually roll this out to people, go into detail, answer those questions, turn it again into an experience, invite people who weren't there, who weren't even involved. They can learn about UX from you. You really want to do an aggressive job marketing, maybe not this aggressive, but use every technique and disposal that you can to talk about this. Talk about it in staff meetings. Talk about it on your intranet. Talk about it on Twitter. One agency that we worked with ran a test, put it into the company newsletter, put it onto their wiki, put it as many places as possible until people started asking questions about it, and actually it started to snowball from there. So definitely don't be afraid to market. Anybody seen these kid reaction videos? Some people, these are fantastic. These are kids watching commercials, and then you're just watching their faces as they're watching them. Sometimes they interview them afterwards as well. But it's incredibly powerful to see their expressions. Now, when you're doing a test, videotaping is another level of complexity, and certainly editing it is even another level. But if you have the resources to be able to go and make a quick highlight video and show people's faces, a 10-second clip can do the work of a 40-page report. It can be really, really powerful. Okay, so even if you have nobody who can help you, there are still some ways that you can help and to help to build a team for yourself. Connecting the dots at your organization or agency or office, finding the other people who, there are probably other people out there who do user experience and usability work that you don't know about. Often I meet people at events and I'd say, oh, here's a person from agency X, you should meet this person. So getting out there and try and find, maybe there are actually other people out there who do what you do. Maybe it's not their official capacity. Maybe it's something they just like to do on the side. Maybe they used to be a user researcher and now they're doing marketing or they're doing web content, whatever it might be. Put it out there and try and talk to people. Try and find those people. They can be important allies. Yep. Sign a release form. They're online. Oh, the question was, thank you for reminding me, if you're videotaping people, do you need to worry about contracts and their likeness? And the answer is yes. But you can Google video recording contract. I think there's even a couple on government sites and find those. Often they can be very brief, and it just says you own the rights to their video. And especially if you're paying somebody, they will sign anything. But you can just tell them, just say, this is just so we have the right to videotape you. Is that okay? And they will say yes. Give yourself a cool title if that's something that you can do, even if it's not your official title, but what you tell people that you do. Does anybody have a title that they think is kind of pizzazzy? Somebody's got to have something. Yes. Know it all? Ooh, I like that one. What else? so cool. Anybody else? Yep. Doesn't have to be in your business card. You can just say, oh, I'm the user experience team lead, I'm the UX evangelist, know it all, fixer up, or whatever it is. Starting with getting a whole person, unlikely, but you may be able to get a part of a person or a part of a person's time. Depending on what people's bandwidth are, maybe they have 5% of their time that they can help you out with, or 10% of their time. Putting it out there that there are opportunities for people to help. If you start to rebrand yourself as not just a person who does UX work, but you're a person who trains people. We do trainings all the time at our agency. We have a 3-hour one about usability testing. Hour 1 is the concepts. Hour 2 is we pair up people and I test each other. Hour 3 is we talk about the results. Simple things, like half day, couple hours, whatever it might be, but you're the provider of this service. You are the go-to person. You're spreading this knowledge out there. People will start to flock to you. They'll want to learn these things because it helps them in their job. So you can be a nice reciprocal relationship where you're teaching somebody, but they're helping you out. You can enlist them for projects and say it is training, which it is. Yes. Yes. Mm-hmm. Question 1 was if I developed the training myself, and the answer was yes. And I guess it was more of like a comment, right? That you've seen people go out and create these, and it was successful. Yes. Yes. So, and we're actually thinking about changing this, but hour 1 was introduction to human-centered or user-centered design. We talk about the concepts for about 40 or so minutes. Then we start narrowing to usability testing and how it's a late stage product. You don't test a product before it's created, basically. You need to have some sort of prototype put together. And then we do a demonstration test for about 10 minutes. I grab someone from the audience. I have a script put together with some tasks written on it, and I'll just hello, my name's John. I'm here to do a test with you. Here's what we're trying to find out today. Please don't worry about hurting our feelings. We just want to get this nice feedback. Then I'll ask you a task, and she'll be doing it on the projector, and everyone gets to see the progress and hear her comments. Do that for about 10 minutes, some back and forth. Sometimes we'll throw together a please rank the difficulty of that task, but more it's just the talk aloud method that you're demonstrating and the active listening. So that's hour 1. Then hour 2, we'll either have people bring their own sites that they want to test, and we send them a document beforehand that says, find out your own top tasks, or we give them like dummy sheets of sites that we already have tested in the past. So either they come with their sites or we hand them one, and then they test each other. We need one computer for 2 people, and people will test each other. They'll ask them to go through the tasks, so they get a chance to experience being a facilitator. And then after 15 minutes, they switch, and then the person who is the testee becomes the tester. So the goal is to teach them that they can do it, how the process basically works. You can give them other resources afterwards, but get them in the trenches, have them start talking to people, demonstrate what the process is and how it works. And then, if they get the fire, they can go from there. And the third hour is let's talk about how it worked, what did you find worked, what didn't work. If you want to highlight some problems, that's fine as well. And then you can talk about facilitation best practices or any other big picture thing you want to talk about. That's the current model. We'd like to flip it and do, I'm trying to think of somebody who demonstrates this. Probably somebody here knows, but it's the classroom flipping where you give people the lecture beforehand at home, and then they come in and the whole time is just doing. So I'd like to give them all the materials, and then they come in and we say, great, everybody test each other, or test random people, and then have that be the meat of the class. Good. Cool. This is stakeholder mapping. If you are trying to figure out in your organization who are the people to talk to get resources or who may be able to lend you resources, it's a very cool exercise. This was from the Luma Institute, Luma. They have a kind of a nice training program, and they post most of their techniques online, and just shows key people and influences and can help you figure out perhaps who to talk to. Training. Volunteer opportunities, I kind of talked about that. Finding a champion, finding someone who will take your ideas and really be a big promoter of them is like a huge, huge concept when you're trying to spread user experience. Jacob Nielsen says that's kind of step one. If you want things to spread and at your organization, you need to find someone who's high up, who believes in, and will talk about it. So finding that executive champion to be your cause is pretty vital. And finding measurements, trying to say, what types of things are we measuring? Are the things that we could be measuring? Maybe use that as a stepping stone towards creating UX parameters or analytics goals for products, and then trying to push that into some sort of UX evaluation. Yeah, you can look for key performance indicators if you're trying to see a person should be able to accomplish a certain task within a certain period of time, within a certain number of clicks, with a certain error rate, whatever that may be. And then you can test that via tests, or it can just be based upon like qualitative ratings on a system usability scale where you're asking people their subjective information about the usefulness of a site or a product, and then saying we want a 7, and oh, we got a 3, using that as a starting point. I think that's just about it. So the summary again: cheap resources, build a team, learn how to sell, share your successes, and go for those quick wins. And we can do Q&A, or if I'm out of time, we can let people travel. No? Yeah. Yeah. What do you use to build your prototypes? No, they're not. But do you ever go for the lo-fi stuff and just try and see some general reactions before you start the hard work? Yeah, I don't think there's a. And does anybody have an answer to that? Oh yes, the question was about prototyping, and the great suggestion from the audience member was Axure, AXURE, as a really popular prototyping tool. Just Mind? Oh, Just in Mind. Okay, that's another one. Yes. Mm-hmm. Comment was about Balsamic, which is another free download. I think if you buy it, it's like $70 or something like that. Yeah. Yep, and it has the advantage, as he said, of being like it's intentionally like lo-fi to the point where like all the boxes are like kind of wavy. They look like you just kind of drew it like that, and that enables people to critique it more than a high fidelity that looks like it's just about done, and you don't really think you can pull up the floorboards and fix it. That's a great comment. Yep. Acture can go lo-fi as well. Yep. So, until they're trained? Do you mean? Oh, okay. You don't mean the test participant, right? You mean you're trying to train someone how to do usability testing? I think it depends on the person, but we've had people who've gone to one training and then they go out and do it. I wouldn't bet the entire farm on that one test, but I think they can easily conduct a test where they can find usability problems in a non-statistical method. So yeah, I think like 95% of usability testing is experience. So get them out there again and again. Every time, if they have a little bit of guidance, they're going to find problems. And you have the budget, hire a professional, but I certainly think after one or maybe two tries, most people can conduct a small test. Yep. What's up? Question about Acture learning tools. People are looking for help with resources or tutorials. Where's it from again? Do you just Google Acture community? One person in the audience just says Google around, you can find the community people who put up their source code that you can steal. Other answers to that one? Borrow. Borrow. Yes. Do you work for Acture, sir? No. You said also people who work for the company also are posting resources that people can use. That's good to know. More from the online community? Okay. Last call. I'd like to have more. Sometimes in the federal government, it's not as common as I would like. I was talking to Kit about that. Yeah. Anybody in the audience have a comment for that? You may be better suited to answer that than me. Yes. Question was Agile development, which is better? Was it Agile versus Scrum, or was it more nuanced than that? Which is better, doing all your upfront research or doing it in the fast iterative Scrum method? Pros and cons of that. Anybody? Yes. Oh, okay. More questions. Oh, you're zipping up your coat. Thought you were raising your hand. Okay. Anything else? Okay. Oh. So he's saying, how do you get usability started in your organization if they think it's bunk? Anyone have any answers for that? Kit in the front. They do? Oh, okay, good.
Scenarios and tasks, and as long as you record it, and then you find the highlights, and you just put together, some quick highlights, like 5 minutes worth of stuff, and you share that, and people, there's a lot of power in doing it to share, and that's how I managed to get usability testing program in place, Bloomberg, and Solar,
Kit said, just go do it. Just have a test try and use Morae, M-O-R-A-E, which is a usability testing recording tool. Just spin out a video quickly and then show that and hit people over the head with the actual conversation. Evangelizing. Yep. He said trying to make it relatable to people's own experiences, connecting to whatever frustrations or pain people may have with products that they use on a regular basis, and start to create that buy-in from that. I find any means you can use to get people inside that room to watch a test is valuable. Like throw the pizza, food, like anything you can do. If you don't work for the government, you can probably pay for food. We can't do that, which stinks. Even coffee you need to talk to people about. But yeah, draw them in, even for one test for 1 hour. Like even if you think a 5-hour test or whatever isn't going to fly, get them in for 1 hour to hear those user comments. Make sure they can see it, via a webinar, and then just I've had a very high success rate of people who are skeptics turn into believers after just one test. You can kind of see the light bulb go off, and they're like, "Wow, we actually should have been doing that. This wasn't actually what I thought." And then you can try and back that up with stats or research or whatever else you can. But that experience is key. Someone back there had a comment. Oh yeah. Which ones do you like to borrow from? Yeah, that's a great idea. He said, why not just use the marketing materials of all these online testing tools or companies and their little promotional videos? Sometimes they spend tons of promotional value. Why not just use that to help convince people? That's a great idea. Hmm? Hmm? No? All right.
Thanks, John. That was great. Is this on? Okay, sorry. And thank you for bringing usability testing to the federal government. Thanks, Joe from Talians. And before we go, can we have a show of hands of who's looking to hire people? Okay. Who's looking for a job? All right. So you guys connect afterwards, and also check out our job board on the NoVA UX website. There in the discussion board, we have there's a link to the job board, right, Jim? So for those of you online, if you have a job you want to post, send it to Jim or me, and we'll post it for you. I recently posted something for a friend. KitCheck is looking for several people, UX designers and front-end people, and I think Jim posted something recently as well. Jim's going to come talk about some upcoming meetings. And then also then we can stay and socialize, but if you're sitting in a black chair, please help us get them back in the back room afterwards. All right.
I'll show the way.
Okay. Thank you.
Hey, everybody. Great. So first of all, hey, thanks for coming out tonight. The snow is coming down, so we'll mingle for a while here, but everyone please be safe getting home. So the next meetup is next month. It's a little later than we normally have it. We usually have it around the middle of the month. However, next month is South by Southwest, which I will be at for the whole 10 days. I don't know if anybody else is going to go. Anybody else? South by? Anybody? No? I'll bring back tales of frivolity. and T-shirts and swag, and I'm sure all kinds of stuff, and a hangover. So we're gonna have the meetup next month a little bit later. It's gonna be, I think it's March 26th, I think is the date. And if you notice, I've got my Pro T-shirt on. AddThis just released AddThis Pro today, and the team thought it would be fun to come and tell you about that. So we're gonna have the the design lead, the dev lead, and the research lead come and talk about how in about 3 months we created a premium version of AddThis that just launched today. And a lot of really cool, actually the research was really, really interesting on price sensitivity and all kinds of cool stuff. So lots of cool things to tell you guys. April is scheduled on the site, but we haven't got the topic yet. So that's still kind of getting figured out. So stay tuned. I think that's it. Anything else for us to hit on? Yeah. 840 almost, or something like that. Yeah. So we're on Facebook, Twitter, Google Plus. Help spread the word. We're growing and continue to grow, so that helps us out a lot. Does anybody have any announcements they want to make? Go ahead. Here.
I put some flyers out on the table over there. There's this event happening the weekend of February 22nd, thank you, called Code Across. If you guys have ever heard of the term civic hacking, it's basically bringing local communities together with government agencies, local government agencies, to create new technology, create new websites, apps, everything that will kind of make interaction between government and community much more effective. So it's taking place at the National Science Foundation. We're bringing coders, UXers, designers, researchers, policymakers. If you have any interest in any of this, please just take a look, grab one of the flyers. You can also find it at codefornova.org.
Very cool. That's really cool. Anybody else? Any other announcements anybody wants to make about a position you're trying to fill, a cool event coming up, any other meetups that you want us to all know about or anything like that? So you said Tergo? Tergo? Mobile mapping apps? Awesome. UX UI designer, cool, for all us, our friends on the interwebs. Anybody else? Any other announcements? Awesome. So feel free to mingle. I think there's still a little bit of pizza left. And if you're sitting in one of these black chairs, follow me. If you could fold it up and grab it, and it helps us break things down a little bit. I'll do that right now. Thank you all for coming. Appreciate it. Thanks, everybody.
Oh, yeah? No. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, they have. They're on Meetup. Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, okay. Great. Do you have a car? You're, no, that's fine. Yeah. Actually, we don't have that many. If I were to send you a text message, would you be able to send me your contact information and reply? Okay. All right. Let me do that. That's fine. What's your email? Oh, they are. Like in a bag? Hey, is this yeah, that'd be great. You know, I'm not sure. I mean, yeah, I mean, the website over there is pretty cool. Everything that we have. Yeah. Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah. 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 That'd be great. I really appreciate that. Oh wait, we go to that. We go to that one. That's the NoVA Code for NoVA Brigade. Yeah. We do. Well, Michelle is the kind of meeting organizer and Jeff, and then there's also yeah, they meet at the same every Thursday. In the National Science Foundation. Yeah. 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 Same for Ruby. Yeah, they're gonna both. Yeah, they're all gonna be there. For NoVA folks are gonna be there. Yeah. I think I did hear about that. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. 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 That's cool. Ricardo, Nina, nice to meet you. Yep. Great. Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, I'm teaching myself how to code right now too.
It's frustrating 90% of the time, and then when it works, the other 10%. Not success rate, it's more that's the time you actually spend celebrating once it works at the end, you know, like.
Yeah, no, that is really a nice. Yeah. It's got to become it's kind of like a not having the exact.
I found a guy that started mentoring me just online, just doing something like that. This will help. Like, it would take me an hour to figure out before. Like, I would just ask a question. In 10 seconds, I'd have asked you. Oh, it's just that. It just speeds up the process. So, do you guys know any UX UI designers that are looking for work, contract work, anything like that?
I do a little bit of advanced stuff, but it depends on the level of expertise. Looking for someone that's got a level of expertise, and I'm not your. But if you're looking for someone who can do like
We don't need autonomous, but we need someone to help organize the workload more than anything, and clean up the screens. Because basically what we have is like the apps. When I just joined the company 2 weeks ago, the developers have like built kind of all the controllers for the code and the functionality is mostly there. And they've kind of just thrown some scrappy UI up to make things work. It's all over the place. It's complicated because there's like 3 layers of organization. There's like projects, notebooks, notes, and it's shared across users. So it gets confusing like what you're editing or where it's being edited. So. Yeah, some structure and then kind of like the actual menus. You know, a lot of the menus, it's not like really heavy visual, but it's more like how do we take all this data and these lists and like editing a list and we kind of basically run operation and then managing that so it's not going to be good. But I don't because I started there like 3 weeks ago. But I can if you know that but it's super chill. It's like 30 people, like 4 companies. We just need someone like it's Sterling, just up the road here. So I live in Arlington. And McLean, Cherry Lake. Maybe done like mobile UI stuff, like iOS or Android.
not so much, mainly just regular website.
Yeah, other than that, that's about right. Yeah, I mean, if you got a portfolio, pass on. If not, if you know someone that's interested, happy luck. But you can't hurt because right now I'm doing wireframes for people just trying to fix things. You know, like the developers are like angry with me. Like, they need someone. Like I think if they have someone that says they're a UI designer and not just tweet, they'll be like they'll take more stock in it. Just say that what they build is. Not that it's terrible, but it's.
Yeah. Kind of like a backward process. So we start with better design.
Well, I asked them, like, why didn't you guys find like a designer at like the start of the project? So, I don't know. I just thought we'd figure it out. Oh, and now they're like in so deep that they don't want to redo things.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's hard. That's a challenge.
And if you don't design around, or if you don't develop around design, you often go down rabbit holes.
Yeah. Well, and they're like, well, it's MVC, so you know, use sketches, use out. I'm like, but that's not really true. I built some sites. Like, you end up changing a lot of the flow, driving and stuff like that. So.
Yeah. The hubris of it's programmed to result.
You just change a template and set.
So configurable. Configuration language is like perfect.
Right.
Sorry, what's your name?
Neil.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know what they're paying if you do contract work. I mean, they're looking for like cheaper than agency rates, but they still pay pretty well because I know they need someone pretty soon. So.
I'm Nina.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
Me too.
What's your name again? Pierce. Nice to meet you guys.
Yeah, I'll send you an email.
Great. Let's clear that quickly.
Yeah.
I think everybody's trying to avoid the storm out there. So.
Yeah, it's starting to accumulate a little bit.
It's hard to find global people.
Yeah, it is. It's hard to find people experience, but you know what? A lot of stuff can be applicable and kind of taken.
Oh, yeah. Especially people like you've done like responsive web stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just working with
Okay, have a second.